story, a quicker version of the Libertarian that I fucked.
Yay!
So, we need to hear this.
Yes, so, for so many reasons. So, you know how you're not supposed to sleep with your coworkers?
No.
What?
He is a coworker. And I found him on Tinder. It was great. And I was like, new at this job, but like, and he was kind of notorious in the office because he looks like, so he's tall and he's this big black beard and he looks like a villain from like a Victorian novel. He wears like dark suits and has this big black beard and always looks very serious. And I found him and his name's like he said, he's a bad guy. Clearly this is like a villain. But it was like a hot villain. He was a very sexy villain. And he was Brazilian.
Oh,
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, you know, checking off all things. And then I find his Tinder and the first picture is him naked in a shower holding the Stanley Cup.
Oh my God!
Yes! And I was like, well, this is hilarious. So what I do is like I screenshot it and I send it to my other coworker that I'm friends with. I'm like, look at what I found. And he was like, oh shit. And then he sent it to our other friend. We like all laughed about it, but I was like, oh, this will be funny if I like swipe. I wonder if he would actually match, like, because I don't know this guy at this point. And so obviously he just matches every girl. So he and we started chatting, and at first it wasn't serious, and then it was actually flirting, and I was like, well, you know, but he's hot, and I've never done this before, and we're not in the same department. So I'm in social media because I'm a millennial. He has like a real, like he's in like accounting or something. I don't know how this like hot evil Brazilian man is an accountant. And so we met for drinks, and that was, you know, margaritas. I didn't have margarita because I'm allergic to citrus. I just had tequila. Yeah. And then we went back to his place and had sex. And then he immediately, and it was actually pretty good. Like, it was like good, like kind of like rough. Like, I was like, ooh, yeah, you are a bad guy. Like, and then afterwards, he pulls out his phone to like send an email. And I was like, this is weird, because like we were like first talking, and then he just like got very quiet, and we're like listening to his like industrial goth music, because of course that's what he listens to. He had like paintings of like suicide girls on his wall. Like, he was like that sort of guy. And he, and I like look over and I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, I have to email about this song to my ex-girlfriend. Lying there naked, like, really? And I was like, really, right now? And all of a sudden, he starts sobbing. He starts crying, and he's like, she left me, she ran away from me, she disappeared. And I was like, wait, what? So it turns out, his ex-girlfriend moved across the country to get away from him. Like ran, like sleeping with the enemy, like got the fuck away from this guy. And he's telling me this story, like it's a sad story for him, and I'm lying in bed like, shit, what can I fight him with? Is he gonna kill me? Because now I know. And so then I'm like, and then he gets up too, he's like crying, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And so he gets up, he starts storming around. Naked in a circle. And I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna go, I'll go now. And he was like, no, stay. And I was like, no. And he was like, no, I promise. And this is at like 3 in the morning, and I am really drunk on tequila. So I, against my better judgment, stayed. And then we had a debate about politics, because that is what you should do after you see a meltdown. Sex, meltdown. Let's talk about government and politics, because even though he is an immigrant, he has a very thick Brazilian accent, guys. He was very, he's not Republican, he was very libertarian. He's anti-immigrant, even though he is one. And he thought at the time that Trump was a better option than Hillary. And I just my vagina started crying. Normally I feel like that's like a happy thing to have happen, like you want lubrication down there, and this was like, what did I just do to my body? Like the scary stalker part of you was also bad, but like now, some of the libertarian thing is worse. Yeah. And especially if you're like so against your own self-interest, where he thought that because he finally became an American citizen that meant he could just hate every other immigrant. No. Oh boy, guys, work is really fun now.